Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel and welcome to this review / reaction video to the brand new Angels of Death. If you haven't heard of Angels of Death, it's an animation that Games Workshop is currently working on. It's with the Blood Angels or Flesh Terrors, I honestly can't remember. And it's been a while since I've heard any updates from it, so it'll be cool to actually dive into this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the community article for it. A new Angels of Death trailer is here. It's crawling with cultists. So I'm going to guess Genestealer cultists, just based off of this title. Crawling in my skin. These wounds, they will not heal. Fear is how I... Anyway. Angels of Death. Good old Angels of Death. Remember, the Emperor did not want anything, like, religious at all. That's why he named them the Angels of Death. No religion. Anyway. You may remember the wonderful atmosphere teaser for Angels of Death. That series followed a band of blood angels as they hunt their missing captain, but there is no straightforward search for and rescue mission as the insidious foe lurks in the dark. Get closer. Okay, let's just dive into this. Actually, let me just make sure that this isn't too loud on here. Got some guardians, some guardians.
Why have you come? We ask for no aid. This is our city. It is time, my brothers and sisters. Pray, walk the place of our birth.
Okay. Kind of reminds me of the Mummy. Okay. So we got a lot in this trailer just shown to us all at once. That was kind of ridiculous. All right, let's pop this off really quickly. Fix our hair. And let's take a look at this. So, boop. I'm going to turn the music off at this point. So, right off the bat, we have a hive city. Really cool, very gothic, I love it. Okay. And then we have the Cadians. Now, I'm not sure which Cadians these are, or if they actually... I hate that this doesn't pause. Okay. So the Cadians here. Maybe not Cadians. They just have the flak armor. So I don't think these are Cadians because their soldier sigil is different. We see the Chimera in the background and just how wide the damn thing actually is. I think it was like 22 foot wide. It was a really, really big tank, but it's also really fast and really cool. So we get to see the different types of lasguns that they have. These just look like the standard mark for lasguns. He's holding his. He's got his belt and everything. They're not carrying many ammunition packs. It looks like they only have 1, 2, maybe 4 in total on their bodies, which means they have about 400 rounds of ammunition. Charges of ammunition. There's a Thunderhawk. It's got its Thunderhawk cannon. Just pretty neato mosquito right there. Got this look. Looks all nice. And then we get the Blood Angel. The first appearance of it. And I gotta say, I really like this scene. I think this is pretty cool. Like, we get to see what type of Mark helmet he has, which is, I want to say Mark 7. I want to say that's Mark 7. It's not the Indomitable armor, but it's close. Okay. Then we actually go into his helmet itself, and this I actually really like. So you can see here that he's getting all the tactical feeds, statistics, and everything based around the environment that the Space Marine is fighting in. This is actually something that an Auspex can show you, but it's built into the helmet, so I think it's really cool. This will tell him like vulnerabilities of the enemies, statistical anomalies, the pressures in the air, the gravitational flow, and his suit will actually compensate for all of that. meaning that if there's a gravitational shift, the backpack on the power armor will activate its small thrusters, and yes, those are small thrusters. They're meant to keep him balanced. They might activate the maglock boots, depending if there's an atmospheric shift or a magnetic shift. The pressure in the air, whether or not the air is breathable, the filtration system, and all sorts of other things to get this Space Marine into battle and get him ready to kill the enemies of the Imperium. Typically, these things also include an ammo counter for your bolter's ammunition, or whichever weapon you are using. If it is a chainsword, it tells you how much charge the chainsword has left. And yes, chainswords do actually have charges. Grab my boomer juice. Okay, so I really like this scene. And it just shows you how quickly and how tactically adept Space Marines are. And this I really like, especially for a shock trooper like a Space Marine. Because Space Marines, let's just face it, they don't win wars. They strike... Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Space Marines do win wars, but it's because they are a shock and awe unit, and they go in, kill a unit, and then let the Guard finish the war. So typically the Guard are the ones that are in place and fighting the long war, and Space Marines come in to deal like critical damage, destroy structures, destroy enemy super heavies, hit tank lines, and things where shock troopers will come in handy. You can actually see this in the Space Marine game when the Imperial Guard are trying their hardest to fight up against the Orks, and Captain Titus has to go and take out certain key elements so that the Guard can advance. And you get Lieutenant Mira, and she's amazing, and I love her. Okay, so next scene here, we have the cultists shooting lasguns at them. I'm not keen on the lasgun sound effect, because the lasgun is actually described as cracking thunder of how loud it is. And the beam of light is actually perfect here. I do like how the lasgun fires, because a lasgun is a semi-automatic weapon, so it would fire pretty quick. It would fire in 3 bursts. You could switch it to a maximal setting in case your opponent has armor, and try to bore through the armor itself by melting it. The lasgun is a speed of light weapon, so aiming is extremely important, and it's like aiming a laser pointer at something. So you have to be very careful when it comes to shooting a lasgun. Let's see, what else can we talk about here? Because there isn't too much. We get the Chimera, and I think the Chimera is intense looking. You got the multi-laser up here. You got a... I don't know what this is supposed to be. It almost looks like a coaxial heavy stubber, but I know that that's not the case because the heavy stubber should be on top, but it might be the case. And you get the heavy bolter here. Now I'm going to say something controversial. This kind of looks like an old PlayStation 2 game, in my opinion. I've seen PS2 games with really good graphics, and this would kind of looks like an early PS3 game. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like the tracks here that aren't straight kind of annoy me, where it's just, it feels a little bit like a bit wasted here, because there's no segregation. This is just one solid like chunk of it looks too 2D, if that makes sense. Like if the person from Death of Hope or Astartes or Sodas did this, the Chimera would have more definition, I feel. Like this track would just be individual segments that rotate instead of just one solid picture. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying different art styles, different artists. Okay, so then we get more cracking of the lasguns. These guys just kind of waiting around, giving orders. They're more than likely using this Chimera as a command vehicle for frontline command, as well as a troop asset. More cracking. More handprints. So we can see that the cultists are also hiding in the guardsmen themselves, meaning that they are wearing the same insignia. So now we have confirmation that the guardsmen are not Cadians. I am dumb, don't mind me. So more cracking, and then we get some of the actual characters from the Genestealer cult. I don't want to say that this is a Magus. I'm hoping they use the female Magus, to be honest. We get to see the Blood Angel in combat here. And honestly, he looks kind of derpy. I'm not going to lie. I always imagined Blood Angels would fight in more of a westernized or European sword fighting technique, not just randomly throwing their sword until they hit the enemy. And yes, technically they would be fighting with the chainsword as if it was a mace or an axe, but even still, I never like this over-the-shoulder double chop that they always do. And this is even in Space Marine. I always imagine them actually as elegant sword fighters. So like this scene right here, it just, I get it, it's supposed to show that the Genestealer can outmaneuver a Space Marine, but then in the end this Genestealer gets hit, dies, kind of looks like the Mummy. I'm not going to lie, I've just watched the Mummy, it kind of looks like the Mummy. Okay, then we actually get a leader, which is really cool. And I, again, don't want to say this is the Primus or the Magus or the Nexus or Billy the Nid. This kind of just looks like one of their leaders for a standard squad. So nothing crazy out of the ordinary here. Got some more cultists running in. You can see some of the mutations and Genestealers running in with them. It's weird that the Genestealer and the Metamorph hybrids and the Acolyte hybrids are so small. I always thought that they would be a bit bigger. I do love this beam of light that they have right here. But they use in my opinion, a lazier animation style where they just bleach everything else in the background, don't put detail here. Again, I feel if this was Astartes, Sodas, or Death of Hope, all of these people would still be fully detailed and they wouldn't use cheap animation tricks. Not saying it's bad, again. Just saying it's the art style. Also, they wouldn't be running like this. They'd be running with their weapons down and like this. I'm sorry, that irks me a little bit. Even if they are Genestealers and Guardsmen mixed together, they wouldn't be running like that. Then we have the Space Marine with his bolt gun, and the bolt gun is just being used here as an SMG, which kinda looks a bit cartoonishly small in the Space Marine's hands, but I always thought the bolter was a bit too small for the Space Marines. It always comes out looking like an SMG instead of like an actual weapon, like a grenade launcher. I really like it though. I think it's really cool. And let's see. I don't... Okay, there's the shots out of it. And they do actually have the ignition, which I like. If you see, you can see the ignition of the rocket itself as it goes off. And that just straight up looks like the Mummy. Then we have some Genestealer cult propaganda, which is probably released by the Nexus. And I don't think there's anything else after that, right? No. Okay, so that's pretty much all they gave us for Angels of Death. And I gotta say, it's looking really good. But at the same time, it's looking like, let me be real. I feel like, I think other artists could have probably done this a little bit more detailed. I get what they're trying to do with the black and white and red, and I think that's really cool. It has like kind of there's a game for the Wii of all consoles that did this exact style, and it's really cool and I really like it, but it doesn't feel right in this setting. I don't know how to put it. It's just something about this trailer is throwing me off a little bit. But I think it's really nice at the same time. So I feel like the detail could use work. But overall, I'm waiting for the story itself because visuals are only as good as the story itself. So I'm excited to see where this project goes. I'm hoping they add a lot more to it. I would love to see Billy the Nid versus a Space Marine. I think that would be really cool, especially if he's popping Space Marines. If you don't know, that's the Kellamorph. I'd also like to see the female Magus instead of the male Magus because I feel like the male Magus is really ugly and stupid looking, and everybody likes the female Magus, so it'd be really cool to have her in there. And if they really want to be really, really, really badass, they could just have the Genestealers win or get away and have a reoccurring bad guy. Who knows? Maybe they could even name a couple of the Genestealers, like the Magus, Primus, and Patriarch, and have them as reoccurring villains. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely. Do I want them to be Saturday morning cartoon villains? Yes. Is that bad for storytelling? Depends, because there's a lot of stories that can do it extremely well. Look, for example, of Gargoyles from the early 90s, or, I don't know, the 1998 Godzilla TV show based off of the terrible American Zilla at the time, which the TV show was fantastic for no reason. You could go with like a Batman scenario where the villains are always reoccurring, but there's in-depth stories about each and every single one of them. So that's something that I want from this. I want good story because it kind of looks like a cheaper animation. It almost reminds me of like... I know what it reminds me of. Oh my god. It reminds me of Beast Wars. The Transformers cartoon that was like apparently like the best thing ever, and I'm the only one that didn't like. That's the animation style it looks like. But again, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's kind of neato mosquito. But at the same time, kind of strange in my opinion. So I want to know what you guys think. I'm personally excited for this this project. I want to see where it goes, and I'm hoping these are still early stages of development. And I'm really excited to see what they do with this in the future, because they have a lot of cool visuals in it that I really like. And I'm really hoping this story is actually really good. That's what I'm really, really, really praying for. Please have a good story, because I really don't want another story of Spas Marines hit things until they die. Because action shows are cool. They're like a solid 3 out of 10. But an action story with a really good plot and in-depth character development, it's a solid 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. And there's plenty of cartoons and animations that have done this in the past. And I can literally name like 20 of them. Yeah, there's a lot that you can go off of. So I want to see what they do with this, and I want to see more of the story, because right now we're just seeing flashy visuals of a fight, and I want to see more in-depth character development, because that is kind of what I go for. Like, I don't read Space Marine books for their sci-fi battles, because, let's face it, they are poorly written for sci-fi battles, but I do like their in-depth character analysis of, like, Celestine Greyfax, Nathaniel Garrow. I love the story of Kion. I think it's absolutely amazing. The book Fulgrim by Graham McNeil is one of the best examples of this. The Guardians of the Throne series, which is absolutely incredible, with Alea and Valerian. With those two, is absolutely incredible. And yeah, they have fight scenes in them, and fights are cool. You know, action, yeah, punch, testosterone, woo. Anyway, I like character development, and I like characters, and I like cool character arcs, and I like people finding themselves in animations and stories and books, and that's what I cling on to. It's kind of weird, but that's what I like. Anyway, guys, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to ring this bell unless you're a Genestealer cultist, in which case, ring that bell anyway, because then you won't be spotted. It's big brain thinking. Also, if you remember the Genestealer cult, know this. Our Emperor has 4 arms. Their Emperor only has 2. Last I checked, 4 is bigger than 2. Our Emperor is better. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.